Speaking of other cars that are never coming out, we have one more car thing we want to talk about, which is a Mark Gurman tweet/report that Apple has officially canceled their internal car project, which we've all so belovedly been calling Titan, I'm pretty sure.
Wait, really?
Project Titan.
Project Titan.
Oh.
They're shifting some of the employees to generative AI teams. I'm sure some other people are not going to be with the company anymore, but for the longest time we were wondering, like, what does an Apple car look like? Does it charge upside down? Like, what's the deal with an Apple car? That would have been really interesting to see. I put out my hot take on Twitter, which is,
I missed that.
well, Apple doesn't need to make a car to control everyone's cars, and 9 out of 10 people just put CarPlay on the car anyway, no matter what car they have. So they're fine not spending trillions of dollars to make a car.
They air-powered the Apple car.
Well, AirPower was announced.
Oh, fair.
This is just like, we've been working for 10 years internally on hundreds of millions of dollars of development on something
It
that's
says
never coming out.
multi-billion-dollar.
For sure. I believe that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like your theory, but I always thought that Apple was doing this just to have another category to get into for more growth. 'Cause
It's
they're
true.
Kind of like plateauing.
It's true. I think Nilay from The Verge has put it best. Like, when you are a company the size of Apple, the thing you have to do that moves the needle for real for your company is like, I guess we could be a bank. I guess we could be a financial services. We could be a car company. Like, the things you add to Apple to move the needle have to be gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
And this was one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, we could theoretically just add being a car company to the list of things that we do.
Buy Exxon, baby.
Buy ExxonMobil and fire everyone. That's exactly what I was thinking. Apple, you could move the needle so far. You just saved all this money on research and development. What are you going to spend it on? Buy and shut down ExxonMobil.
For the PR.
Yeah, for
Think
the
of
PR.
the keynote sketch you could
Dude,
do.
think about all the carbon credits. You would be carbon neutral forever by shutting down ExxonMobil.
You just look at their plans for the next 10 years and they're like, all right, that, gone, us, heroes. The end.
I think Apple's going to be fine regardless, but what I'm most excited to see is like probably 5-6 years from now, some ex-Apple employee is going to just drop a bunch of like sketches or renders of what this car was supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And then
Make that 20 years.
probably with Apple, probably just so he can make sure he's like, he can still live afterwards. And that's when everyone's going to be like, man, what we could have had, it would have been so great. And
To be fair, it was super impressive how secretive Vision Pro was for so long, because when they finally announced it, like being on that campus and seeing employees like, I've been working on this and hiding it from my family for 9 years, and I'm so excited it's finally coming out. And I'm like, Jesus, that's a long time. And it didn't leak at all. Nobody saw, I mean, it leaked a little bit. You saw patents and stuff, but like the thing came out as a true surprise. And I wonder how much like they've had to hide to keep the car secret. Like, little things have leaked and we've started to name it Project Titan, and we knew that they were working on it and spending money and hiring people, but no one's ever seen any sketches or anything like that, which is crazy.
Do you think they did any prototypes?
They have
Some version of
tried
prototype?
something, I guess. Yeah. How far did they get? I don't know
love
how
to
far they
see
got.
that.
Do they have a clay car somewhere down there underneath Craig's office?
clay car for sure. I don't think they probably got to anything driving.
Any type of...
The New York Times reported that they had been, quote, testing the car on public roads, but like we would have known about that. I was like, that can't be true. Maybe they were testing tech in like other cars, but
I mean,
Possibly.
something that people do often is like test mules. So Ferrari
Right.
all the time, they're replacing the 812 and they'll throw the engine and chassis or suspension in like a Roma or something, and then so no one can know what it looks like. That's possible, but like, what would that go into?
I know. And a Fila.
There's like Priuses driving around, and people see Priuses around Apple Park and they don't realize it's like some Apple Vision Pro driving
what
the
does
car.
Tim drive?
Honestly,
Black Air Forces.
You think Tim drives?
yeah, I like that's a question. What does Tim drive?
Tim Cook for listeners.
Okay, I'm going to look this up and then we're going to...
Sickest garage ever, full of just like manual sports cars and
Bet. I mean, the Steve Jobs story was like the opposite, where he had like the same
Camry or
SLR.
something.
I think he had like a silver Mercedes.
the McLaren SLR.
No, he had an SLS, possibly black.
And
It was
he
a
got-
pretty nuts.
SLS Black Series.
Yeah, it was definitely an AMG SLS. I'm just not hold on. Let's.
But wasn't the
Apparently
story,
2 years ago
he
said
never
he-
wanted to put plates on it, so he bought a new one every year, so he never had to.
In California, you don't have to put front plates on your car for like the first 2 months. There's a grace period, so he just bought a new one
Jesus,
every
yeah.
2 months. But let me find out what kind of car this. It might have been a CLS.
According to 2 years ago, he drives a 528i.
Tim Cook?
Yeah.
The Volkswagen.
Interesting.
No,
that's a BMW.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Meh. Is that the one with the car key at least?
I have no idea.
With the iPhone key?
No, that was if that's the picture that you're looking at, that's like a 4-cylinder. And those 4-cylinder.
Yeah, it says
were bad.
He owns a BMW 5 Series and a Porsche Boxster.
What I will say is I've seen lots of articles about what cars people own, including about myself, that are super wrong.
I mean, you have that NSX.
What are they saying?
There's a lot of articles that think I have cars that I don't. So I would say that I would take that with a grain of salt.
I mean, other than your garage full of Teslas, what other cars do you have?
The only cars I own are the 911 and the Rivian, just so you know.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh.
That's the only cars I own.
But
And
you
there's-
have a
legally.
Cybertruck on order.
I have an order, sure, but there's articles that say crazy things. So
He also has a
Cook.
Roadster on order.
that's also on order. So I would, some of these cars may come out someday, but the Apple car definitely won't.
Do you have a 2-car garage?
Yeah,
You're gonna need a bigger garage.
the
If these
Cybertruck.
things go through.
The Cybertruck, because I've been parking Ridge's Cybertruck in the garage, because parking it outside, bad idea. It is the closest anything's ever come to not fitting in the garage. I have to fold the mirrors in to get in the garage door, and I have to pull up the nose of the truck to like 3 inches from the front, and it closes 3 inches from the back. So it is absolutely snug in the garage.
Wait, how do you get around it?
There's room to the left and right.
I said
like
the same
door.
thing.
No, but like
Sorry,
if
the
it's
garage is wider than the door.
Yeah, but so like if you park, what side is the door of your to get inside the house on?
There's a door in the garage.
Yeah, so but like if you pull into the garage and the door's to the right,
You can't get around it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like
I
if
need
you
to get
happen
the
to park
other
on
side
the
of
left,
garage,
you couldn't get
I
around.
have to leave the garage and come in a different door. Yes. It's that snug. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it technically fits. So there you go.
It was not the black. It was a standard SL55 AMG tuned. The
Nice.
Steve Jobs car.
That's disappointing.
Steve Jobs doesn't seem like an AMG black kind of guy. I don't know.
I mean,
You
that
have
would
the
be
turtleneck and
wild
the-
if it was.
Hey everyone, Ellis here. Welcome to the Clips outro. If you watched the full episode of this week's pod, you might have noticed us arguing about pies and egg dishes for a little bit. So I thought I'd throw a little bonus not for points trivia question here for the clear pie enjoyers among us. So specifically savory pies, and specifically I want to know, cottage pie and shepherd's pie share all of their ingredients except for one.
Can I just tell you, and I tried to tell you this yesterday, I think. I think a lot of us know the Pod Quiz trivia. You have mentioned this so many times that this was a question on Pod Quiz, and I got it right because of.
Hell yeah.
So yes,
Is it the cheese?
no.
There's no cheese in either dish.
Why is
Do
it
you
called
know?
cottage pie?
Cottage pie and shepherd's pie share all ingredients except for one.
Flour?
Shepherd's pie has lamb. Cottage pie has beef.
Let's go, Andrew. Savory meat pie genius over there. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to like and subscribe.